What is going on, everybody? Blazin here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we actually are competing in a tournament versus other content creators. And it's all for this one thing, which, oh God, I wish I wasn't such a gotcha mentality type of person, but we are going for the Mad Hatter avatar. Now, to compete for this, we got to do a couple of things. We got to do a team for the new event dungeon, and there's certain qualifications, right? Number one, no mythicals, none whatsoever. No enemy max HP hitters, right? So no Newts, no Acrisias, unfortunately. We cannot use Armands. Also, no duplicates. So this was really tough for me to do. Now we have to start from stage 15 and move our way up. So let me go ahead and show you guys the team and kind of give you a little bit of a thought process of what I was trying to do here. So obviously, if I can't use most of these champions, right? If we can't use the G-Nuts and stuff like that, what's the next best thing? Well, as you guys can see here, we're going all out poisons, right? So from stage 15 up to stage 30, this team does work all the way up to stage 30. Now, I could be switching the teams up to 2 times, and I was just like, you know what? It's really not worth it. So it's definitely not the most free to play easy team. The speeds are absolutely insane, but most of these champions were, I want to say, accessible for us. I know, with the exception of Supreme Kale, right? He was actually a void champion that we had to get from the event that they were doing back then. And Theodore, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. But most of these are, you know, champions that can be replaceable. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut off my camera and I'm going to let this play. If you guys stick through to the end, you'll find out some giveaways that we're doing and how you can get yourself one of the avatars. All right, so you guys can see here, stage 30. Now, the key thing about this team is we are exploding all the poisons. So you could definitely run a variation of this team. It's just, I mean, if you brought in a second Theodore, it would definitely be better than the Priest Ornn that I have. Now, if you're really worried about not having poisons, right? You can actually use Taurus, the epic champion from the Skinwalkers. He will place 4 poisons on the enemy, and you will place an unkillable on yourself, so she'll strip it, but it doesn't really matter. The MVPs on this team is actually Theodore and Supreme Kael. We really want to minimize the amount of buffs that we put up, just because the more buffs we put up, the more turns she's going to take. And because we're not building any sort of resistance, as you guys can see here, we're taking that decreased defense. If she takes too many turns, she will actually kill us. But overall, this is a safe, consistent team. It worked out very well. For having so many limitations, no HP burn, no enemy max HP, no Seer, no Armands, it made things very difficult. Now, I did also try to use your Carl from the clan shop to CC them. It wasn't really working. The one thing I kept finding out is if Kaja took a turn, it was game over, right? So we needed to have a minimum of 9 poisons, and we needed to have some sort of poison sensitivity, right? That made it very clear that, or very sustainable, that Kaja will never survive. As you guys saw, every single run she died. You do not want to use the A3 of Stork, right? It's going to give us a lot of buffs. Yes, it'll give us turn meter, but it's going to give us a lot of buffs, and we don't want that. So 2 minutes, 16 seconds, 18 seconds. There we go. 2 minutes, 18 seconds on stage 30. Listen, it's going to be a tough team to build, right? But it's stage 30, so I'll go through the builds in just a minute. But I think overall, for what limitations I had or what restrictions I had, I think I did pretty good. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. Was it good? Was it bad? All right, let me just run through the AI setup real quick. So with Stork, we turned off the A2 and we prioritized the A1. Tomb Lord, we prioritized the A2, right? He needed to put those poisons out. Luckily for us, he's always going to put it on a weak affinity, so less chance of us being 3%ed. Priest Ornn, we prioritized the A3. Theodore, we prioritized the A2, or the A3, sorry. And then Supreme Kael, we prioritized the A2. Honestly, Supreme Kael came in so clutch because none of his poisons, none of his debuffs can be resisted. All right, let's run through the builds. We're going to start with Theodore first. Now, the builds are not free-to-play friendly, guys. I'm going to tell you this off from the start. Now, Theodore, I care about 3 things. 1, he needed to live. So regen set was a must, right? Try to build him as tanky as possible. The next 2 things we cared about is speed and accuracy. We didn't care about resistance or anything else. So what we did with him is we build him above 300 speed. Even though we are using a speed lead, it still helps out a lot. And 452 accuracy. And that's only because Supreme Kael brings increased accuracy and decreased resistance. We did have him fully booked, right? And Brimstone is what we took for a blessing. As for masteries, we took support and offense. Basically, it's solo masteries for any dungeon farming, right? So we took Oppressor, the Sniper, along with Spirit Haste, Lore of Steel, along with Cycle of Magic. We took Swarm Smiter, Arcane Celerity, we took Charge Focus, and Pinpoint Accuracy. As for the offense tree, we took Methodical, we took Wrath of the Slaying, Whirlwind of Death, along with Keen Strike, and Heart of Glory, along with Deadly Precision. These are the masteries you can pretty much take on all of the champs. Honestly, Tomb Lord doesn't need them, and neither does Priest Ornn. If you just get him on Supreme Kael and Theodore, you'll be fine. Maybe Stork too. All right, next up is Supreme Kael. Now with him, again, the same thing as our Theodore. We wanted survivability. So we cared and we put him in a Immortal and Regen. As for the stats, 302 speed. We built him nice and tanky, so 4.2k defense, almost 76k HP. We don't care about resistance. We don't care about accuracy. We don't care about crit damage. It made it so easy because he just brings everything, right? He just doesn't need any of the other stats. As for the booking situation, we do have the A2 and the A3 booked. Ideally, you just care about the A3, right? Or the A2, sorry. As for masteries, again, I don't have any on him. You could put some, and I would just use the same ones as I have on Theodore. Let's talk Tomb Lord. Now, Tomb Lord, two things is all that mattered for him. Enough accuracy and enough speed. So we got him built in double perception and a 2-piece feral with a 2-piece pinpoint. As for the stats, 343 accuracy, so he goes first in the turn order to get those poisons up. And then the only other thing we cared about is having enough accuracy, so 552 accuracy. You do need to have 100% crit rate to make sure that he crits, so you can put it on the high, or you can put the 4 poisons up, right? As for the booking situation, we do have him fully booked. Ideally, all you really want is the A2. And then as for masteries, these are basically clan boss masteries. I haven't changed this in forever, but we have Giant Slayer along with Kill Streak. We have Methodical along with Bring It Down. We have Single Out with Life Drinker, Keen Strike, Heart of Glory, and Deadly Precision. Now on the defensive tree, we have Master Hexer along with Evil Eye, Lord of Steel, not Lord of Steel, Swarm Smiter along with Charge Focus and Pinpoint Accuracy. All right, Stork the Broken. Now with him, there's a couple of things we could do. Either A, we could just let him die off the start like everybody else, or we could try to get as much time as we can out of him to poison explode. So what we decided to do is use him as much as we could. So we did with a 2-piece pinpoint, regeneration set, and 1-piece feral. Again, what I cared about most is making sure that he had enough speed and accuracy. So he's at 284 speed and 452 accuracy. He needs to come after Priest Ornn, right? As for the booking situation, I do have him fully booked. We did use his aura to help us out, right? Masteries wise, we came down the support in the defense tree, and we took timely intervention. This is probably the worst one to take, but because I was using him for some solo dungeon stuff, this is what I had, and this is what I kept. But you can take Oppressor, right? We took Spirit Haste along with Aura of Steel. We took Cycle of Magic along with Rapid Response and Arcane Celerity, because he does place a lot of debuffs and a lot of buffs. Exalted in Death along with Pinpoint Accuracy. As for the defensive tree, we came down, we took Delay of Death along with Resurgent, Rejuvenation along with Blastproof, and we definitely did take Defiant. All right, last but not least, we have Neciliac Priest Ornn. Now with him, I cared about 2 different things, and that's pretty much it, is we needed to be fast and have enough accuracy, right? He needs to go either second or first in the turn order, because we want that poison sensitivity. We want to make sure that those ads are dead by the time that our Theodores go or our Storks go, right? So want to make sure, again, fast and high accuracy, and if he dies, he dies. We don't care. As for booking situation, we do have him fully booked, right? It doesn't really matter what you take for a blessing for him. It's not really going to come into play. As for the masteries, we don't have them, right? We could take the same ones for Theodore, and that's really it. You don't need to go crazy with this. So that's my team, Poison Explosions. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. To be honest, it's probably one of the strongest teams out there for almost any content in the game for wave clearing, right? Poison Explosion teams are probably one of the best. I know Seer is great, but sometimes she can't even kill everything, depending on the blessings that you have. This is very consistent. Now, if you want to get yourself one of these Mad Hatter avatars, all you got to do is basically follow the same rules. No HP burn, no enemy max HP teams, no duplicates, right? No Seer, no Armands, can't use any of those. In the description below, there is my Discord. Come in, show me in Discord what you have for a team. Just record the highest run that you can get to, and then we will be giving away 10 of the avatars along with some goodies for anybody who competes. Make sure that you guys leave your UMID number in the comments down below and let me know what you think of the team. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we dive into the world of Raid Shadow Legends, discussing everything from free-to-play strategies to pay-to-win insight, and covering the journey from early to mid-game. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, we have something for everyone. Don't miss out on the Knights of Teleria podcast, the only podcast for Raid Shadow Legends. Good luck, everybody, to anybody who wants to try to enter in for this. I wish you all the best of luck, and as always, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other, and I'll catch you guys next time.